Good evening and welcome to ICU TV Main News. My name is Miriam Debragamani and here are the stories making headlines. Government announces recruitment of 2,000 teachers. Livingstone man loses both legs in train accident. And later in the news, government clarifies Zambia has no IMF arrears. In international news, US arrests Iranian woman over alleged arms trafficking to Sudan. In our sports news, Rwanda under-17 arrive in NDOLA for World Cup qualifier. More details coming shortly. And now the news in details. The government has announced the recruitment of 2,000 teachers under the 2025 exercise aimed at addressing teacher shortages and improving education standards across the country. The move is expected to strengthen staffing levels in both primary and secondary school nationwide. Precious Banda gives us more details in this report.
The government has announced the recruitment of 2,000 teachers under the 2025 exercise aimed at addressing shortages of teachers and improving the quality of education in schools across the country. During a press briefing, Minister of Education, Honorable Douglas Yakalima, said this is part of government's ongoing efforts to strengthen the education sector and that the Teaching Service Commission will advertise the positions tomorrow, Tuesday 21st April 2026, through both print and electronic media.
Treasury Authority, government has commenced the recruitment of 2,000 teachers for the year 2025. Of these, 92 are early childhood education, 565 will be deployed to primary schools and 1,343 to secondary schools.
He said the recruitment had been delayed because government had to carry out an audit which revealed that many teachers moved from rural areas to urban areas, creating a shortage of teachers in rural areas. He explained that he had posted many teachers in rural areas with about 30,000 teachers deployed, and almost a quarter of them were posted in rural areas. He warned that teachers who will be deployed to rural areas must not run away from their postings, saying this will not be tolerated and anyone who does so will be considered to have expelled themselves from the teaching profession. He also said the children in rural areas also deserve equal access to education, adding that the government remains committed to improving the living conditions in rural areas, including the construction of staff houses.
The reason why we delayed because we had to do an audit to check exactly where our teachers are, and we found out that this is why I was saying many of these teachers are going into rural areas. This is where we have had a drift from rural areas to urban areas. And this is not going to be allowed. Those kids in the rural areas are also Zambians. So why should you run away from, first of all, you are crying for a job. We give you a job, you run away. And like the president said, now this is very serious. If you run away, you have expelled yourself from the teaching profession. Yes. Because we cannot tolerate this. This is why we delayed, because we had to do an audit. We had posted so many teachers in rural areas. The 30,000, almost a quarter of them ran away.
He added that once the recruitment of the 2,000 teachers is completed, government will proceed with another exercise to recruit 3,500 teachers as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen the education sector and improve learning outcomes across the country. Precious Banda reporting for ICU TV News in Lusaka.
A man in Livingstone is in critical condition after losing both legs in an accident involving a moving train at the Zambezi Railway's yard. Now, the incident has raised concern over safety around railway infrastructure. Putin Honde gives us more details.
A 40-year-old man of Linda compound in Livingstone has lost both legs after being hit by a moving train at the Zambia Railways yard. The incident happened on April 19, 2026 around 16:30 hours, and Southern Province Police Commanding Officer Mono Nambalongo identified the victim as Alik Mundukutu. Police said the man allegedly entered the rail yard unnoticed and attempted to cross the tracks by crawling under wagons while the train had already started moving, but became trapped and was dragged for about 10 meters. A truck worker, Nathan Mulemwa, quickly put the emergency vacuum pipe, bringing the train to a stop. The victim sustained severe injuries and was rushed to Livingstone University Teaching Hospital, where both legs were amputated at knee level. Police suspect he may have been under the influence of alcohol, and he remains in critical condition, unable to give a clear account of the incident. For ICU TV News, I am Beauty Nkonde.
Government has clarified that Zambia does not have any International Monetary Fund (IMF) arrears and has not defaulted on its obligations since the restructuring program was implemented. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Internal Cooperation Mulambo Haimbe says Zambia's current engagement with the IMF has shifted from program leading to post-program surveillance, which is a standard arrangement after completing an IMF-supported program. He adds that there is no active IMF lending program in place at present. Mr. Haimbe explains that Zambia continues to service correctional obligation linked to past IMF support, which remain current and form part of the normal multilateral financing agreement. He says the successful completion of the program has also boosted confidence from international partners, unlocking further support for the country's economic reforms. We take a short break, more local stories coming up. Don't go away.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
The Zambia Free Press Initiative (FPI) has urged President Hakainde Hichilema to strongly condemn the assault of Power News Network journalist Alfonso Kasongo in Lusaka's Linda compound. The incident occurred while the journalist was carrying out his duties. FPI has described the attack as a serious violation of press freedom and the rule of law, noting that the journalist identified himself during the incident. The organization has also raised concern over increasing cases of hostility towards media personnel. The organization is calling for a swift and impartial investigation, with those responsible brought to justice. It is also urged that political players to ensure journalists are allowed to operate freely without intimidation. Government has awarded UNICI's employees in local authorities a salary increment of 710 kwacha across the board following concluded negotiations on improved conditions of service. The agreement reached between government and local government unions also includes a 30% increase in transport allowance for workers living with disabilities. The move is aimed at improving welfare and supporting staff performance within councils. Local Government Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Nicholas Piri says local authorities remain key drivers of development and must be adequately motivated. Local Government Service Commission Chairperson Lasson Kazuba attributed the delay in finalizing the agreement to unavoidable circumstances, while union leaders have welcomed the development, saying it will improve the livelihoods of workers. You're still watching ICU TV Main News. We take a short break. Coming up is international and sports news. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now in our international news, the United States authorities have arrested a 44-year-old Iranian woman at Los Angeles International Airport over alleged involvement in arms trafficking to Sudan. The suspect, who holds a U.S. green card, is accused of brokering the sale of weapons on behalf of Iran. Prosecutors said the alleged deals included drones, bombs, and millions of rounds of ammunition reportedly supplied to Sudan's defense ministry. Court documents indicate the transactions involved contracts worth millions of dollars, including a major drone agreement. The suspect is accused of violating U.S. sanctions against Iran, which prohibits unauthorized dealings in Iranian goods and services. She is expected to appear in court and could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. And still in international news, Iran has ruled out plans for a new round of negotiations following the seizure of an Iranian-flagged cargo ship by the United States in the Strait of Hormuz. The development signals raising tensions between the two countries. The United States has dispatched a delegation led by Vice President J.D. Vance to Islamabad for possible talks, while Pakistan has tightened security in the capital, deploying thousands of personnel and restricting movement in key areas. Meanwhile, a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon continues to hold, the residents returning to southern regions to assess damage to their homes. The situation across the region remains fragile amid ongoing diplomatic uncertainty. We take a short break. Sports news coming up. Welcome back, and now in our sports news, the RWANDA Under-17 women's national team has arrived in NDOLA ahead of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier against Zambia. The full delegation of 33 members is now in the country after arriving in 2 batches at Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe International Airport. Rwanda heads into the decisive second league match trailing 2-0 from the first league played in Kigali. The team will face the Copper Princesses on April 22, 2026 at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, with kick-off set for 15 hours. Tickets for the match are available online, with fans encouraged to purchase in advance through the digital platform. Physical tickets will not be sold at the stadium, lineup, CAF and FIFA regulations. That sports item brings us to the end of the ICU TV Main news. But before we go, a quick recap of the stories that made headlines. Government qualifier. Thank you so much for tuning in for our main news. For more news updates, do stay tuned for our Facebook page ICU TV and our website at icutv.com. Have a good night. God bless.